Hello everyone, I'm back near my bookshelf with this huge stack of books beside me, so that can only mean one thing. It's June, so it's that time of year for our 6-month reading check-in. I did this last year and I just really enjoyed it, so I thought I would do it again this year. So I've brought you to my little book corner of my room. This year I've read 21 books, and in those there was 3 2.5, 3 3 stars, 3 3.5, 7 4 stars, 3 4.5, and then 1 5 star. I've got my book log behind the camera there to reference, and let's just get straight into it. First book I read this year was The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch album. This was a 4-star for me. I remember enjoying it, but I think I liked Tuesdays with Morrie better because I read that first, but then I know my boyfriend enjoyed The 5 People You Meet in Heaven better because he read that one first. I still thought it was really good, very interesting. It's about when you die, the 5 people you meet that changed the course of your life without you even knowing, and it follows this one man, and he was the amusement park maintenance guy for years and years, and everyone knew him, and then when he passed away, it went through all the characters in his life that made a huge impact on him, but he didn't know it at the time. The next book was my January book club book, which was Bride. So you'll see every month I've got one book club book and a few choices that I've chosen to read. This was a 3.75. I thought the female main character was entertaining. I thought that it was an easy read. It was a super simple plot and world. I won't really be reading the second. I found the mystery interesting, but I think the middle kind of the story lacked a little bit. But overall, it was enjoyable, and I remember reading it really quickly. So following on from that, I read Babel. I have no words. I'm looking now, I rated this a 4.5. I'm not sure why it wasn't a 5 because I still think about this book 6 months later. That's how you know it's a good book. I was completely and utterly consumed by this book, and I hadn't felt that in a while until I read this one. It all just felt so real, and the characters felt real because it's set in our world, but it is a fantasy, but since it's half real, it feels more connected to us. I remember trying to explain what it was about in a vlog, and I really struggled because it is so complex, but surrounds... It's based in Oxford in 1836. It's about Oxford University's Royal Institute of Translation in the Babel Tower. This Babel Tower pretty much controls the entire empire of England. It starts off us meeting this boy, Robin Swift, who's an orphan, and an Englishman finds him and brings him back to study at this tower, and then it goes through him in all of his years of schooling and then kind of finding out some deeper mysteries about this tower that he didn't know before. And there's an interesting sort of magic system that relies on silver and language, and that's all I can say. It is just so interesting. R.F. Kuang really did her research, and I was terrified to start this book for years. It was on my list just sitting there, but I'm glad I conquered it, and I kind of want to do a reread. After I finished that, I went in with The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. I bought it overseas from a secondhand bookshop, and it had been on my list. I just thought it was super intriguing, and I thought the cover was really cute. I rated this one a 2.75. It's set in Dublin, which was even more fun because I had just been to Dublin, and it's basically about this vanishing bookshop, and it flicks through perspectives of the present day and then the past tense of the lady in the bookshop. This didn't really connect to the characters. I think there were a few plot holes. It just felt a bit underdeveloped, but I thought it was an interesting concept. But I really did struggle to finish this one. Only a couple more books for January, but I read my February book club book, which was The Do-Over. I read it a little bit early. I rated this a 3 stars. I think this was the fastest book I've ever read. It was cute and easy to read, but I didn't really connect or care about the characters too much. It was more just a cute story. I loved Better Than the Movies by Lynn. I think I rated that 5 stars. This one for me was just a bit of a filler read. It's about this girl in high school or college, I can't remember, and she has the worst Valentine's Day. She comes back home at the end of the day, goes to sleep, wakes up, and is reliving the same day, and that happens over and over. So it's a very cute concept. We chose it for February because it was based off Valentine's Day. And then the last book for January was Yellowface by R.F. Kuang again. I didn't love this as much as Babel. I rated this at 3 stars. The premise... Oh, I just found a bookmark in there from Daunt Books, because I also bought this overseas, but I thought the premise was interesting, but I just didn't love it in the end. It felt a little bit flat for me. There's 2 friends and they're writers, and one of them is really famous and successful, and one of them is struggling a little bit. The really famous and successful one ends up dying in a freak accident, and so her friend who's struggling finds her half-finished manuscript and takes it and decides to finish it and publish it in her own name. She ends up doing it, and then you just see her kind of fall apart after that, because when you start a secret and have to live out about a secret it gets really difficult to upkeep. Interesting premise, just didn't love it. Kicking off February with Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. Now I'm a little bit disappointed with this one because I love V.E. Schwab, but I rated this a 2.75. I read it with my friend as a buddy read and we just didn't connect with it. I don't even remember what it was about. I just don't remember loving it. I thought it was a little bit random and it didn't connect to any of the characters. And I have written no notes, so sorry I can't give much more of a review. Next, I embarked on the Spark of the Everflame series. I picked this up one day when I went to Kmart because it had sprayed edges and it had been on my list for ages and it was really cheap because it was from Kmart, and that just unlocked the entire series for me. I read these back to back. I just kept downloading them on my Kindle as soon as I finished the other one, so it just felt like one long big book because I was so hooked. I rated the first one 4.25, the second book 3.5, and the third book a 4 stars, and the next one isn't out yet, so I've been waiting and waiting. I was just addicted to these. Everything about it, I think maybe I was just reading it at the correct time. It just felt like your classic YA fantasy. Half of the city living in poverty, half of the city living in extreme wealth. One of the poorer girls meets one of the princes from the castle and is at first disgusted by all their wealth and riches, but ends up obviously falling for him. It's also, as I said, a fantasy, so there is some powerful elements in there, and she's kind of coming into her powers or coming to terms with the fact that she has powers. It's all kick-started by the main character's mother disappearing and her trying to find her. Highly recommend. I cannot wait for the next one to come out. That was all I read in February. I just read that entire series. Kicking off March, I started with my March book club book Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte mcconaghy. Not sure. This was a 4.5. I, again, really enjoyed it. This is an Aussie fiction, so I just love how I could really relate to what she was saying, the things she was mentioning. It's about this father and his 3 children, and they live on a tiny island near Antarctica, similar to Macquarie Island. So at the back, she has all of her inspiration for the setting. See, I was picturing sort of a Macquarie Island near Antarctica, and they store seeds there in case humanity ever needs to restart, pretty much. And this father and his 3 children look after the seeds on this island. But now with seawaters rising, the whole island is in jeopardy of flooding, and so they need to get the seeds out of there into safety. So as they're in the process of cataloguing these seeds and trying to get them out, this woman washes up on their shore, which is impossible because they're in the middle of nowhere. There are secrets and it's almost like a mystery that you're trying to figure out why she's there. It seems like the father and the children are keeping a secret because just the way it's written is very mysterious, and it just really kept me on my toes. Yeah, it was just very well written. It felt like something we could have read at school since it was an Aussie fiction, but I still really enjoyed it. And I'm pretty sure everyone in my book club rated this very highly as well. After that, I went in with A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman. I've read My Friends by Fredrik Backman and loved it. I was really excited for this. I rated this a 4 stars. It follows Ove, who is the grumpiest man ever, and he lives in a little complex of apartments. He's just annoyed by everyone and everything for not following the rules and protocols. He pretty much, the whole book is trying to end his life because he wants to join his wife in heaven. He's been really sad ever since she passed away, but new neighbors move in and kind of stop him every time unknowingly. They just keep knocking on his door for help and to hang out, and he ends up really intertwined in the lives of his neighbors, and he ends up finding a little family almost. So I think it is a cute read. Some people got annoyed by how grumpy he was because the monologue is a little bit negative, but I thought it was really cute. Then you'll notice I started entering a bit of a slump, and so I brought in some rereads for reinforcement because usually rereads may fix my slump. So I went in with Hello Beautiful by Napolitano as my first cure for my slump, and I rated this a 5 stars again on the second time. I loved it both times I read it. It is loosely based off Little Women, and it follows these 4 sisters. It is a general fiction, so it just follows their lives, and they have kids and get married and move away and fall in and out of touch. And I don't know what about it that I loved, but it just, since it was based off Little Women, it just felt like a warm hug. That's all I can say. Now, following on from that, my friend and I wanted to embark on a huge fantasy series that we were both scared to embark on, similar to Babel, so we decided to do it together. Is the Mistborn series by Sanderson. So we read the first one at the end of March. I rated it a 4 stars. So if you don't know, The Mistborn series is this epic fantasy written by Sanderson, which I just said. I don't even really know how to describe it. I didn't know anything going into it really, I just found out on the way, and it has an interesting magic system. They ingest different types of metals to get different magic. So for example, copper might give you a certain power and then zinc will give you something else. And so learning about the whole system was really cool. And you're pretty much following a rebel group raising a rebellion against the king and the empire because they're part of the poorer part of the city. They're not part of the nobles and they're just treated terribly. So they're trying to overthrow the empire. We did enjoy it. We haven't continued on with the series yet. I do want to finish it at some point. I think we're just taking a bit of a break, but I did enjoy it. Next up, I read Just Friends by pham. I rated this a 2.5. I thought it was cute, but I just didn't love it. Next up was my book club book for April, Dear Debbie by Freida McFadden. I rated this a 4 stars. I will say this was out of my comfort zone. I don't usually read Freida McFadden or kind of thriller mystery type books, but my friend loves it and she suggested it, and I was like, book club is all about stepping out of my comfort zone. It follows this woman named Debbie and she writes an advice column in the newspaper for women, and the advice is a little unhinged. She is a little unhinged, and that's all I can say really. Next I went in with another reread, The Conditions of Will. This was another really highly rated book. When I read it for the first time, I actually vlogged it. 4.5 stars. Again, on the second read, I was consumed by it. I couldn't put it down even on the second time when I knew what was going to happen. I'm not going to go too much into it because I feel like I've talked about this book so many times on my channel, and I think everyone's probably heard of this. After that, I picked up a book I was really excited for, The Nocturnals by Frances Whiting. I saw this in a bookstore and the cover caught my eye and I just decided to buy it, and I actually filmed a reading vlog for this, so go watch all my thoughts on it. It does contain spoilers, but I do a non-spoiler review at the beginning. I rated this 3.75. I thought it was going to be a 5 stars and I was really excited for it, but I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to. I don't know, something just fell a bit flat for me, but I do want to reread it at some point because I think, as I said, I was in a bit of a slump and it may have just been me and not the book. I mean, the cover is the cutest, so to display this on my bookshelf is a win in itself. We've hit May now, we're almost at the end of this wrap up. Last few books. I picked up The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This was the first book in the series. I picked this up for really cheap in a secondhand bookstore in England, and it is set in England, so I think knowing that I picked it up in England and it is set in England was just really special to me. I rated it a 3 star. I remember enjoying it and it was an easy read, but I just didn't really care. Again, I think I'm in a slump because this is my friend's favorite series ever. It follows 4 friends in a retirement village and they solve murder cases for fun, and then all of a sudden there is a real murder case happening in their town and they want to be the ones to solve it. So it is really funny because it is so different to any book I've read, following 4 people in a retirement home. And maybe I'll continue the series at some point when I just need an easy and fun read. After that, I went in with another reread to try cure this slump that I'm in, 7 Husbands of Evelyn, Hugo. I've been wanting to reread this for a little while because I read it for the first time like 4 years ago, and I'm not going to get into the plot because I think everybody knows about it now, but I had to include it in the wrap up. After that, I read my May book club book, The Bright Years by Sarah Damoff, which I rated 4 stars. It's a general fiction, which I personally love, but my friends don't, and they really liked it too, so I think her writing is just so addictive. It follows couple Lynn and Ryan who meet, fall in love and get married, and it follows them throughout their lives and how their pasts affect them in the future. It deals with addiction and secrets, and it really focuses on family, the importance of family and how you still feel drawn to them even if you're really angry at them. They're not a perfect family, but they all just love each other so much, and there are a few perspectives in this book. Lillian, Ryan, and then their daughter Jet, when she grows old enough obviously to speak and have her own perspective. It was just good. I think a general fiction for me, I just love reading about people and their lives. That sounds really weird. I just think it was an easy read. My book club, we haven't spoken about it yet. We're actually discussing it this week, so I'm interested to see what everyone thought, if they had different opinions to me. That brings us to what I'm currently reading. I'm in the middle of 2 books. The first one is The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, which is a non-fiction, and it is about social media and how it is affecting Gen Z. I think this topic is so interesting. I always talk about it with the people in my life, the effects of social media. I know I'm posting this on social media, but all in moderation. This is the first non-fiction that I'm reading and really really enjoying and just soaking up every word. It's a lot of common sense things, but it's backing up what I already knew with actual studies and research, which I think is really interesting. I'm going through and tabbing some pages that stuck out to me so I can go back and look at it whenever I want. And I'm reading that in tandem with a Game of Thrones. Me and that same friend that did Babel and Mistborn wanted to tackle Game of Thrones. Well, she wanted to tackle when she brought me along with it. I'm like out of breath. She brought me along with her because it was way too daunting to do by yourself. This is like the mother of all fantasy books to me, and it is terrifying, and I never thought I'd get around to reading it. I guess I am. I feel like I can truly say that I read fantasy now after reading this. I'm like 30% through. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm reading it a lot quicker than I thought. But those are all the books I've read so far this year. We've had an okay reading year so far, not a lot of 5 stars, and we've been in a bit of a slump, but we're still getting through. I've just decided to read what I want to read, even if it's rereads. Just take my time with it. So I feel like I've been talking at a million miles per hour, and I have only been filming for half an hour, which is pretty good, so I'm not even sure if I went into these books in enough depth. I hope you guys enjoyed. Another 6-month wrap up. I love filming these because I literally just get to talk and yap about books for half an hour, which is my favorite thing ever, and share it with you guys, and I hope that you gotten some recommendations or agreed with some of my thoughts on these books. Now, I never ask this at the end of my videos, but apparently it really helps to grow a channel, so if you got this far and you really enjoyed this video, I'll ask if you can please subscribe and stick around if you want to see more from me. With that being said, that was the first time I've ever done that. That's weird. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon.